My boyfriend met up with the affair partner from my previous relationship. Several years ago my fiancé at the time, 30M, had an affair with a married woman in our friend group. It totally ripped my 30F life apart. That friend group fell apart and I broke up with my ex. About a year later, I started dating my now boyfriend, 32M. He was sort of tangential to the original friend group, but had only met most of the people in the group once or twice. We moved across the country together and last I heard that married couple with my ex's affair partner stayed together and also moved across the country. My boyfriend was on a work trip this week and ended up in the same city as my ex's affair partner and her husband. For some reason he reached out to the husband to meet up while he was in town and ended up hanging out with both the husband and the affair partner. He had previously only met them maybe once or twice, so I have no idea why he wanted to meet up. He said it was because several of his friends were still friends with the husband and he wanted to be friendly and reach out since the husband is such a nice guy. I thought I had put that entire portion of my life behind me, but it really hurt that my boyfriend would open that wound by hanging out with this couple, who he never really knew to begin with. It's so completely strange that I am kind of beside myself about what to do. I feel like I can't trust my current boyfriend with my emotional well-being and I'm contemplating breaking up with him. Too long did not read. My current boyfriend went out of his way to hang out with the affair partner from my previous relationship and I'm thinking about breaking up with him and confused about what to do. Edit with an update. Well, this update may sound somewhat unbelievable, but I promise it is true. My boyfriend was headed back today. I texted him telling him that I couldn't understand why he reached out to this other couple and that it felt like an old wound had been opened and that I needed space to figure things out. I was planning on going to my parents' vacation home for the weekend to have some alone time to think and reflect. He texted back that he was sorry and wished he hadn't met up with the other couple, still no reason as to why, and then 20 minutes later texted back to say that his dad died. Now instead of coming back here he's flying to his parents' home to be with his family. I know for sure his dad died because his mom texted me asking if he was home yet. She didn't want to break the news until he was home. He found out through some other family members. His dad was sick for years and was immunocompromised and because of COVID his parents haven't had visitors since the pandemic began. I've never met them in person. Now I'm trying to figure out if I should drop everything and fly across the country to be with my boyfriend in his time of need. He said it was because several of his friends were still friends with the husband and he wanted to be friendly and reach out since the husband is such a nice guy. But what about you? Why is it more important to him to maintain some kind of distant friendliness with someone his friends know instead of being considerate of your feelings? Your boyfriend is allowed to have a life of his own, so don't expect him to tailor his life around you like you're the center of everything. If you're at the point where you think you can tell your boyfriend who he can and can't hang out with them, you're the problem, not him. Sorry, but that's the hard truth. I don't see such a big problem here. He didn't want to meet the woman, he wanted to meet her husband. The woman just tagged along, as far as I understand. I don't want to invalidate your feelings, but you really need to move on from this and not let it impact your life anymore. I know you've been hurt, but your boyfriend has the right to remain friends with someone of the group. And seriously, your boyfriend dad's died, you should be with him. Just go. Be there for him, not you. As soon as you guys get home in however long, let him know that you're suffering and packing a bag for your own long vacation at your folks' vacay home. Then go and figure things out from there. Go and support him right now, with his dad passing away. If you don't, the relationship is over anyway. Afterwards, you'll still have options available to work things out or not. I don't see an issue with him wanting to talk to them about what may have happened in the past. I think you have every reason in the world to be mad. But breaking up over this might be a manifestation of your trauma, and your insecurity regarding this girl. She seems to be taking up a lot of space in your head. From what you've told us in your post and ensuing comment, it seems your boyfriend wanted to connect with the husband, not the affair partner. What did you expect him to do when the affair partner showed up? Get up and run away? It's an unfortunate error on his part, made worse by circumstance. Everyone seems to be reading into this a lot. It could be as simple as he was bored in another city and remembered he knows someone there who he's gotten along with in the past. So arranged to meet up. He also wasn't planning on meeting the affair partner, but she was there as marriage tends to be a bit of a package deal. This is what I'd have been thinking if I'd done this. It doesn't sound like something you need to be getting upset about. Feel like there's a lot of people making a bigger deal out of this than it should be. What happened is in your past. Also, the affair partner's husband is not the bad guy here either. Your boyfriend reached out to him to be nice. Imagine being a dude in a relationship where you can't trust your partner. Guy's probably stressed out and he's in a place where he probably doesn't have many friends yet, so it's probably nice to meet up with someone from the old town. This, to me, was nothing more than an honest hangout between two homies where the affair partner also happened to be present. I'm gonna go against the popular dump him advice and say you can definitely work through this. Is he generally a lonely kind of guy who struggles to maintain friendships? I know it's no excuse, but he might have been lonely and wanted company from the only local people he knew there. Although he knows that she hurt you, he might not be able to really empathize because it didn't happen to him personally. Did he only reach out to the husband but his wife tagged along? Does he seem truly sorry? If he understands what he did wrong and apologizes and you think you can forgive him, definitely go and be there for him. At the very least, while he might be a clueless boyfriend, he's grieving, and if he's still important to you, you should be there for him and save the arguments for later. Fly over there and be with him. Even if he will be an ex in the future, it will be good for your self-worth to know you don't drop your moral standards even when life is hard. Table this for later, but make sure to deal with this later. The husband did nothing wrong, so maybe he wasn't planning on seeing both of them, didn't really think about it. If you think you can be supportive of your partner and think going out to him is best, go for it. If you're still upset and think it'll make things worse, it's okay if you want to stay home. But while you have a right to feel uncomfortable about the situation, I don't think this is something to break up over, even if his dad didn't just die. As someone who has made several cross-country and interstate moves over time, this could be totally innocent and very much about connecting in general with people who know where you're coming from. I understand you're hurt. I'd consider just letting go of it, especially if your partner is extroverted. If this is really out of character, maybe dig a little deeper on how it played out and why for him. If it feels like morbid curiosity about her from him, consider why. You made 101 negative assumptions and held him in guilty judgment before even talking to him. They're old peripheral friends, he is alone in town, perfectly reasonable to hit up some of the only people one knows. Your personal life and your past is separate from his. He isn't gonna know he is doing anything wrong unless you specifically said not to hang out with that specific person. You blowing up the relationship and moving to your mom's beach house for the weekend is just gonna ruin whatever chance you have with him developing a safe, emotionally warm fuzzy feeling around you, which will ultimately ruin your relationship. Do you want to work though this? If so, go and put this on hold and be with him. Look, it's weird that boyfriend did that. But maybe there is a good reason behind, or maybe he just made a blunder. We all do have them. Plus he needs your support if you guys have a chance at continuing. Go be with him would be the best thing. Unless you just can't deal with being with him. But do your best to try to shelve the current thing and support him. This is a giant red flag. I think you should really consider your life choices regarding this partner. Someone who does this clearly doesn't care very much for you. Be with him. He might have done a stupid and hurtful thing to you, but that doesn't erase the fact that he's also going through a big life trauma losing his dad. If you think you can put this aside to be with him, I say do it. The support you give him will mean the world. Of course you should go be with him. His dad died. Your husband didn't realize how this would hurt you. Like he said, the husband is a nice guy and he wanted to be friendly with him. I seriously doubt he meant anything malicious by doing that. I think that was an honest mistake. Go be with your boyfriend. His dad dying is a huge deal and you should be there for him. There is something about your story, true or not, that is not adding up in his head. He met with them for some collaboration. The wording of a lot of this was really confusing. It seems to me that it's you who needs to explain why it still bothers you to hang out with that couple. 1. The said couple moved on and seemed to put it behind them, and 2. You broke up with your cheating fiancé and ended up with a better human. Your current boyfriend should be the one upset that you're still hung up on your ex. I might be wrong, but that's what I felt when I read your post, and maybe find time to fly and be with your boyfriend in this crisis and pretend nothing happened for the funeral. It's not easy to lose a loved one. Look, he didn't betray your trust because his dad died. He really didn't think of you and won't think of you for a while. Give him his space, but do not under any circumstance allow him to use his father as an excuse to never address this. TBH, unfortunately he did something really stupid at the worst time possible. I don't think there is much that can be done to save this relationship. You can't trust him and he is not in an emotional state to amend the mess he caused. I would say as a courtesy to support him during the funeral preparations, but then give him his space. But be careful, if you break up with him his family will guilt trip you with his dad's dead. What to do right now? Nothing. Be supportive to your boyfriend and ask him if he wants you there, and if he says yes, then go and be supportive. Things like your issue can sit on the back burner for a while, as any pushing whilst he is coming to terms with this will backfire. Wow, a lot of overreacting happening here. As a guy, your boyfriend probably wanted someone to hang, eat with in a different city, and that's just who he knew. He reached out to his closest contact, both socially and physically. Talk about it with him. Be upfront and honest. I hope you decide that being supportive of your partner whose father died is more important than the fact that he had dinner with a couple you don't like. I would also be very weirded out and hurt by this, but it seems like your boyfriend doesn't really understand the gravity of the situation. I don't think you have to jump to breaking up with him if you don't want to. I believe this is salvageable. Explain how difficult that time in your life was, how hurt you were, how it literally destroyed your life, and how this incident is brining up a lot of bad memories, but also pain that he would do something like this without even thinking twice. If he is apologetic and accepts that this isn't something you can go through again, then meeting up, I think it's worth moving on together. People make mistakes. If he's a good guy all around and this is your only issue, I would forgive and forget with the promise it won't happen again. I say go support him in this time of need. Lots of emotions right now, and maybe you'll become closer through this experience. Honestly, sounds like you're not upset with your BF, you're still upset about being cheated on. Which is understandable. I'm making this face grimace. That's, yikes. Like, what do you even do with that? It's just so weird and not cool. I would not be able to reconcile this in my brain. I think you should take it as an indication that there is something very wrong with this guy, even if it's hard to articulate exactly what. Was he hoping the affair partner would want to fuck him too? I'd dump this guy, he's manipulative as fuck. Drop everything, go be there for him. He did something pretty dumb, but it doesn't sound like it was to intentionally hurt you. In the grand scheme of things it's incredibly minor, but not unimportant, but right now his father has died and he needs his partner. If you choose not to be there for him over this, I can all but guarantee that the relationship will be over. Sort this other stuff out later, trust his word, and be there for him. Good luck, op. That is a big ask. You have zero reason to support the tool that is your boyfriend. I am a male focused on my career, and even I know what he did defies reason or compassion. Good luck, op. Ask your partner if he'd like you to go with him. I am sorry to say this, but his crisis is now bigger than yours. The conversation of why he met up with the couple can wait. You should have it, but for now your partner is going through a huge loss. I am sure you are feeling hurt, but it doesn't sound like his intent with the meetup was to be mean. Sounds mostly thoughtlessness. We all make mistakes. I see a lot of mindsets in Reddit, where walking away is the answer. Sure, in a lot of Reddit posts that indeed is an answer. Don't turn away from your grieving partner. If my partner did when I lost a family member, I feel like there would never be going back from that. Please read in a good tone. Honestly, that emotional wound sounds like something you need to work on. You can't let trauma, heartbreak from your past affect your future. This might be your guy. Be there for him in this moment, but continue to work on yourself. He has nothing to do with that scenario, you can't control who he hangs out with. Maybe you should have dated someone far away from the friend group. No connections, less issues, new beginning. Peace and love. I'm curious. Do you take your time to know these people before dating them? You can figure out people really fast by pumping the brakes and figuring who they are as people. I mean, for someone to do that, they must not have good boundaries. I wouldn't text about my parents dying. That's phone call material. If my partner texted me that, I would immediately call them. Seems odd. My girlfriend and I would both consider that a red flag. We'd prefer that you break up ASAP. This is so freaking weird, op. You sure you're not leaving any key details out? Men get stupid between 23 and 27, then they're okay for 2 years. Then they get cocky at 29-34. Then at 35, we're good. But I'm just speaking from experience, of course. Considering the update, I don't think you should drop everything for him and go be his girlfriend. There is absolutely no viable reason to do what he did. I tried to think about it, see it with his eyes based on what you told about the situation, but can't find any, not a dumb innocent reason, not a reasonable innocent reason why he would want to meet up with the guy and his wife who hurt you. And he knew this. The guy is fully of shit, and I feel sorry for his dad. I say this. Karma is a bitch. This time she was faster than usual. It was dumb, and thoughtless, and inconsiderate, but I disagree with most here. I can see this is an oblivious mistake. If he apologizes and understands where you are coming from, then I wouldn't break up with him over this. Use it as a teachable moment. I think he is completely disrespectful. I would never want to be in a relationship with someone who thought that was a good idea. As far as you flying out to support him, it is up to you. Nice idea, but not like he had your needs considered before and you have never actually met the parents before. I have a very kind heart, but I have to be careful as people often mistake me for a mug. Faced with rolling eyes in this case, I would have my guards up, as my intuition was telling me your boyfriend isn't a very nice person. If this is a good relationship, don't let this trigger ruin what you have. You can talk it through. Good luck. I will say, if you want to have the option of staying with him, you do have to go. Otherwise he will always hang over your head or dump you for not supporting him and being with him when his father died. If you don't 100% want to break up over this, you have to go. You kind of have to make your decision because your choices will affect whether this relationship has a chance or not. That being said, you don't have to stay with him if you go to the funeral. You can go and still break up. But if you want a chance to talk further in the future or stay together, I think you kind of have to go. You should disregard any opinion or advice from those that are quick to pass judgment on someone they do not personally know because there isn't enough information in order to know what his intentions were. All that can be made are assumptions. The best and more mature way of resolving this issue is for you and your boyfriend to sit down together and discuss, not argue or fight, about his reasoning for doing so and how it made you feel. That's it. Don't let complete strangers make decisions on the direction of your relationships. Take ownership of your life and handle it like a reasonable adult and talk it out with him. Yes, go be with him, he needs you by his side, plus this will communicate to him that you are in this for the long haul, unless you aren't. It sounds like he's moved past whatever happened in the past and you haven't. Personally, it's not a big deal. I think it's very mature of him and not wanting to make anything awkward being that they have mutual friends. IMO, this isn't worth losing sleep over. Regards to your update, don't fly to him. You didn't know his dad and you said yourself that you're considering ending the relationship. Personally, I would see his actions as a betrayal. I would have cut it off there and then, but considering the new revelation, I'd give him time with his family to get everything out of the way and give him the space while he's there to grieve his dad, then let him know when he comes back. I think that perhaps the largest issue here isn't that your wound was reopened, but that your boyfriend is demonstrating lack of consideration and empathy, both in his decision-making processes during the trip and in the aftermath with you. When people show you who they are, you should listen. The husband is definitely into Neterace, enjoying his wife sleeping with another guy.